Hello everybody, welcome to another video about a completely useless farm in Minecraft. This time, this is a farm that can produce melon seeds and pumpkin seeds. Now as far as I know, I don't think this has ever been done before, and it does use a bit of strange mechanics. You look at this floating magic beanstalks right here. So I'll turn up the random tick speed and show it in action. So the melon will grow right there. TNT will blow it up, and then it'll reset. So it's actually producing the melon seeds when it grows the melon. So if you saw right there, it grew into the stem and then dropped the seeds down below. And then these minecarts are collecting everything, and got a good amount of seeds. So I'll go through and explain how exactly it's producing these seeds and why I have to use TNT. It does look like a bit overkill, although it looks really cool. So how exactly is it possible to grow melon seeds or pumpkin seeds in a farm? Because normally melons and pumpkin farms only produce melons and pumpkins. So this has to do with the update order of melons growing. So when a melon decides to grow, there's actually two blocks it has to replace. First, it has to replace the stem block with a curved stem block, and it has to replace this block with a melon or pumpkin block. So the game can't do these both at the same time, so it actually, first it will place the melon, and then it will replace this block with the curved melon stem. So this can be slightly exploited by using an update suppressed melon stem. So when this melon stem decides to grow, first it will place the melon on the block, which will break the melon stem, and that's what actually drops the seeds. But since it still needs to set it to a curved stem, it will replace this curved stem in the air. So then, when we break this block, normally it would update the melon stem and break it, but since it needs to replace it with a straight stem like this, when we break it, it will actually go back into a straight melon stem, still floating in the air. So if you want to actually build this farm in survival, you'll need to build an update suppressor. So the design I used, well, not that I built it in survival, but for testing, I used Sensei's update suppressor, which works in 1.17. I did slightly modify it. I moved this part, it was one block to the right. I moved it over just so it's a little easier to not mess up. So before you put the melons in, you need to put in the farmland with the crops growing on top of it. It doesn't matter what kind of crops. These just make it so that the melon seed will grow faster because of the adjacent farmland, and it also stops them from growing melons onto these blocks so that it doesn't update the melon stems two blocks over. So to get the floating melon stem, once you just place your melon, and then you can bone meal it, and then you got the floating melon stem. And it will grow over onto that block. For this farm to be completely automatic, there also has to be a way to remove the melons without breaking the melon stem. So just breaking it with your hand works because it only updates the melon or pumpkin, which will replace the stem. But sadly, the easy method of using a piston does not work because the piston, after it breaks the melon, it does another block update when the piston fully extends, which will break the melon stem. So my final last-ditch idea was TNT, and it works perfectly. Boom. Melon deleted, melon stem still there. So with this then I was able to make a full slice of the melon farm. Get it? Haha, a slice? Okay. So this is one slice of the melon farm, which also happens to look like a baboon kind of monkey thing. I don't know. Yeah. So when the melon grows, it will power this piston above it, which will lift up, push out the TNT duplicator, and the TNT will fall down into here, in this hole. And I've got like floating water here just block the TNT explosion from blowing up the duplicator, just to compact it. And then it falls down and blows up the melon. The reason I used this piston thing instead of just an observer above it was because the observer, sometimes the melon would get broken and then grow back like almost immediately, which is quite rare, but it can happen. Then the observer would only activate once and the machine would get stuck. So this just makes it more consistent. It will always block update itself when it lowers back down, and then make sure it never gets stuck. So basically, I'll show you the one slice in action. It lifts up that, TNT drops down, blows up the melon. Easy. So based on my calculations, each slice of this farm should produce about 6.75 melon or pumpkin seeds per hour. So right here I have 20 slices of melon seed farms and 20 slices of pumpkin seed farms, which should produce about 2 stacks of seeds per hour. So I'm going to run both these for an hour and see how many seeds it actually gets. Okay, it's been an hour of time warp, and let's see how much we got. So, looks like my calculations are pretty close. That's almost 2 stacks over there. And over here, a little more than 2 stacks. So, yeah, it's I think that's probably right then. 6.75 per slice. So, there you go. Melon and pumpkin seeds are now farmable. Woohoo! Alright, see you next video.